Hi, and welcome to 30 Second Success Connect, where we introduce you to entrepreneurs and professionals who love to connect and lead with their hearts. I'm Laura Templeton with 30 Second Success, and today with me, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Rick Millham of the Millham Insurance Agency. Rick has spent the last 30 years working as an independent insurance agent in Doylestown, Bucks County in Pennsylvania. Rick represents 10 different top insurance companies and hundreds of other carriers through his brokerage relationships. And he holds an advanced degree of certified insurance counselor. Rick is a strong believer in giving back to the community and serves on several boards for the community organizations such as Michener Museum, Mercer Museum, the Rotary, Doylestown Dusk Car Show, and Plumstead Christian Academy, to name a few. Rick's agency is at the south end of Doylestown, and I am so excited to introduce you to somebody who inspires me every time we meet, because he always shares something great. So, Rick, welcome, and thank you so much for being here with me today.
It's great to be with you, Laura, even if it's through Zoom. I wish I was there with you personally, but it's great to see your face.
That's all right. After we get through this COVID-19 crisis, we'll all be together again. We might be shaking hands in a different way, like elbows and ankles. Yeah. Who knows? But it'll be fun to have everybody together again soon. So,
absolutely.
Thank you. So I think that one of the things that I absolutely love what you share in your bio is you do spend a lot of time in your community. So share a little bit about the importance of that and how that has helped you with your networking and growing your business.
We're in a probably what you would call a crowded lane, right? So there's a lot of insurance agents out there, a lot of insurance companies. And so, early on in my career, I really thought a lot about how to differentiate us from our competitors. Why would you choose Rick Millham and Millham Insurance over anybody else? And so I really decided that I needed to push into my strengths, and my strengths are relational. And so, I just didn't see the benefit in just being, competing on price. You kind of live by the sword and die by the sword. So, I pushed into that relational space and really saw how, building those relationships and also those relationships within the community were powerful. So, getting connected in organizations where you meet the people who are movers and shakers, people who are influencers who then are going to turn around and say, oh, you need insurance, you need to talk to Rick Millham. So, I saw those key relationships as ways to build that network so that I wasn't just simply trying to compete on price all the time, but that I could truly establish myself as a trusted professional in the community and with my customers.
You just hit on something that is really important too. You talk about the value of trust, right? So trusting the folks that you connect with and that you build, and you do that through relationships.
Correct.
It's so important. It really is, and I love that that you talk about that a lot.
And Laura, I think it's really important to say at this moment that is a long-term investment. I've seen in networking and in community, people come and go, so they come, they say, hey, I'll be on this committee. They want to do one big thing, maybe write a nice check, and they expect things to roll downhill to them. And that's not the way it works. It is a long-term commitment to relationships, to giving back to your community, to investing in your community, to establish yourself as a trusted person and a trusted advisor in the community. So I think that's important. A lot of people think I'll just show up and a week later everything's going to be rolling, and that's not really the way it works.
Mm-hmm. But that's a great point. And I think that one of the things that I have found in a lot of networking organizations and a lot of networking groups, that people show up for a few months and then they leave because they feel like, oh, I didn't get anything out of it. But once you're there for a while and people realize that you're not going anywhere, that's when things really start to turn around, because they start to trust that you're there. They open up to you more. They start to engage with you more regularly. Do you find the same thing when you network?
I do. I think that some people think that networking is like this magical thing that is totally different than regular business. Like I show up and I shake a few hands and then people are going to be like, oh, please write my insurance for me. That is not the way it works. Networking is just as hard and just as much work as regular business. So if regular business is sending out mailers and making cold calls and things like that, if I take that energy and I invest that in networking and put that much hard work into networking, I will see results. But there's nothing magically different. The only difference is that the hard work has a better return on investment in networking than it does in cold calling and mailers. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, but networking definitely returns much better as a long-term consistent effort for businesses.
Yeah, and that's just it. When you start to build that network and people trust you enough to start sharing you with their connections, those referral relationships start to become way more easy to give and to receive, right? Because you not only trust the folks that you're giving referrals to, but you also trust the folks that are giving you referrals. Like, they've already vetted them for me. They know that this is a good person for me to work with, right? Because they've gotten to know you.
Yeah, as a trusted advisor, it's more than just a trusted advisor being Rick Millham, who's advising on insurance that I purchased, but it's the people that Rick knows. I just had somebody who was frustrated because they were getting the runaround from their bank regarding the payroll protection. And I put them in touch, it was a Friday afternoon, and I said, I have a banker and I've got his cell phone number. Let me give it to you and you can call him. And got like actual response and action out of somebody that they didn't know from Adam, but they called and they said, Rick Millham sent me, and he jumped right to for him. So a trusted advisor in that way too. That's what I want. I don't just want somebody to look to me for insurance, but look to me for many, many things, because they know Rick has been working on these relationships. He's got great people in a lot of different industries that can help.
Yeah, and there's so much value in that, and I think there's so much to be said for that. And that brings me to the fact that you and I met through LeTip International, and LeTip is so valuable. I mean, you've been a member of that organization for more than 20 years, correct?
Yeah, since 1996.
Okay. So, and I think that it's just, there's so much value there, and a lot of people don't understand how that organization works. As a matter of fact, Kim Marie and I are trying to connect so she can be on an interview with me, because I would love to share her expertise. But tell me let's talk about how LeTip has helped you grow your business, just that particular organization.
Yeah, so it's interesting because when I first got into the business, I started collecting business cards of people that did different things. And I actually had a card caddy, which is something you get when you join LeTip. And I had all these different businesses in there to keep these people at hand and at top of mind. And then a guy named Steve Lucen worked for Thompson Telephone here in Doylestown. He's since retired and he's down in the villages in Florida, and he's a great guy. He was a master networker. And he said, you got to come to this networking group, LeTip of Lower Bucks. And so I said, okay. And it was at 7 a.m. and it was down all the way down in like Croydon. And I got up at 4 a.m. and I got down there and I walked in the room and went through my first LeTip meeting. This is probably 1993, 94. And I went, this is it. This is like actually what I was doing in an unorganized manner, in a highly organized manner. But I couldn't get myself up at 4 a.m. consistently on a Thursday morning.
Ouch.
I know, exactly. So it was probably a year later that I got a call from Janet Brooks at Brooks and Barber Tree Service, and she said, this new chapter just opened, LeTip of Doylestown. There was an agent that was in there for like 2 weeks, just didn't get networking. He's out. Will you come? So I went to LeTip of Doylestown. It was in the Doylestown Inn. And my first meeting, I brought a check with me, filled out an application, wrote them a check, said, I want into this. And the rest is history. I've been in there since '96, and it's really a vital part of my business because, again, there's a direct writing agent that's in my office complex. Every once in a while, I see him at the Wawa, and he says, "Oh, business is so tough." And I'm going, "Are we in the same industry? Like, are we in the same business?" And I take for granted the support I get from the 75 other members of my group that are constantly looking for business for me. This poor guy is out there, hoping somebody will walk through the door, hoping they'll see an ad, and hoping he can be the lowest price because that's the only way he's getting an account. I've got 75 other people who are out there saying, this guy solves problems, he's professional, he will protect you, you need to deal with him. One of my largest accounts pays over $100,000 a year. And I was referred by another LeTip member, and they said, if this guy says that you're good, we want you for all our insurance. It was amazing. I mean, that just doesn't happen. But it wasn't a big competition. I wasn't price competing against 20 other agents for this $100,000 account. It was, here's our account. Please take it and handle it for us because this recommendation is so strong. So, LeTip, I often say, was the #1 best business decision I ever made in my career. Again, it went with my personality. It went with my philosophy of the way I wanted to build my business. It went with the way that I sell, which is on relationship and on being a trusted advisor. So it all came together. And it has been the #1 best decision in business that I've ever made. I couldn't even begin to count the value. And that's why I've been in it since '96. I've been on the board for all but maybe a year or two of that time. I've brought in over 25 members. It's because I'm committed to this group because it is such a vital part of my business.
That's great. So you mentioned being on the board. And one of the things that I absolutely love that you do each and every week is, yes, you stand up and say, I'm your past president, but you also share the fact that you're the tip master, right? So you share amazing, is it not the tip master? What is it? Yeah.
I give a tip of the week. So I'll give a tip to newer members as to how they might leverage their membership and make it better. Things like just reading the tips as they go around, to mine for opportunities. Maybe there's some piece of business happening that you could help with, or there's some ancillary service you could provide. But if you don't read those tips, you don't see that. And so, little things like that, moving around the room, sitting next to different people, trying to get connected to different people. Always try to come up with a little tip of the week that gets people thinking more about how to leverage and expand their influence in LeTip of Doylestown.
That's great. I love that you do that. I have learned, even though I've been networking for a lot of years, you share stuff and I'm going, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. So, and like, Kara wrote the book on it, right? But there are still things that we need to be reminded on a regular basis, even people who've been networking for a really long time. And I think there's so much value in being reminded, or just thinking of different ways to connect with people, right? Because it really is about connecting. And I think one of the biggest challenges in a large group like that is taking the time to get to know everyone, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important. So we talk about that. So talk about the power of really getting to know the people in the group.
So, there's, again, we talk about being a trusted advisor. And I think in most any business that you're in, if you're a damage restoration company that comes in and pumps water out of people's basements when they have a problem, you want to be the one that is perceived as knowing the most and being trusted. and trust is based on relationship. So you have to build those relationships. And the benefit is that you can build really long-term friendships within the group. And so, there are people in that room that I've known for almost 30 years. It's amazing. And those people trust me to help them make the best decision for their insurance. They know that they can call me and I will give them the straight deal on whatever insurance issue is going on, that I'll, pick up the phone. Those types of relationships that happen in the room, they're professional, and you can trust them. They know they can trust you, and they morph into like real friendships. I've gone on trips with 6 of the guys in the group up to Connecticut for a weekend, and we just laugh and we have fun, and it's more than business and it's more than networking. It's a true friendship, and it's really awesome. And those are the things that sometimes the newer members don't always appreciate. But as you really push into the group, as you really invest in the group, as you really work hard for the people in the room, those types of things are just really ancillary benefits to what we do in networking.
Chapter becomes your family.
It does. It really does.
It really does. So share with me, is there a specific story or something that you want to share about someone in your network that has really made an impact on your business, personal, professional? Share a little bit about that. Is there someone that just kind of jumps out?
I would say that I've had a number of people that have really mentored me, especially early on in professional networking. Really trusted me, took me under their wing. There are a number of people. I don't know if I would specifically bring out one person, but I really wanted to get, and it touches back to what we talked about a little bit of getting connected in your community, being on boards and being in leadership positions in community organizations, being out front and representing those organizations has really helped me. But I would have never gotten the opportunity had they not taken me under their wing and said, come with me. I'm going to introduce you to some people. Come to this event. It's interesting, Laura, with this whole stay at home. My wife, end of last week, she said, I haven't seen you home 5 nights a week for like 15 years. This is great. And I hope it still continues to be great. And I hope we can get back to networking. But, there are, just a part of my business, there are sometimes 2, 3, 4 nights a week when I'm out at community events, shaking hands, building relationships. So, those guys like the Steve Lucens and others who said, come with me to the Michener Museum, come to this event. I want to introduce you to people. And then I went with a stack of business cards and a smile on my face, and I shook hands. And then I said, let me get involved. What can I do for you? Mm-hmm. What can I do for this organization? And slowly through that commitment of regularly showing up, they invited me on boards. And then you really get in at those organizations and you get seen as a leader. So there are a number of people that really took me under their wing and taught me networking, both in the community and then, of course, at LeTip.
Yeah, and there's so much value in that, especially when you're networking within your community. You have a large coverage area, but there's so much business to be had right in your own community. A lot of times people don't realize there's so much power in being connected within that community.
Right.
That it just really, it is such a blessing. And then, yes, you wind up branching out. For me, I've networked for a really long time in Bucks County, but now I'm in Montgomery County, Philadelphia County. I have clients on the West Coast. Like Zoom made that possible. But that all came through referrals and networking. It's where, those clients, I have clients in Florida and California, and all of that really came from networking. And as a matter of fact, my client that I have right now that I'm working with, absolutely love her. She came from a referral from one of the folks in LeTip. So
wow.
So she's in Florida. So it's just really, really exciting to see the power of your network is so incredibly, it's just an incredible blessing. And I think that you've learned that, in a deep and meaningful way, and you share that with others, which is really important. And I think that's to be commended. I think that's, that inspires me, when I hear the things that you're sharing and you're encouraging people to how to network. And I think it's so incredibly powerful that you do that for others.
Laura, I think that it's a bigger picture too. I really want to help people. I'm motivated by that. It's kind of the way I'm wired. And if you invest in people, if you really want to help people, I mean, I think and I don't want to get on my high horse here, but as a business that benefits from being in Central Bucks County, I mean, there are other places that I could be in business. I could be in business in an area that doesn't have a robust business community, that doesn't have, highly affluent people that have to buy insurance that's really expensive. I could have been in a different area, but I have been blessed that my father started this business in Central Bucks County and specifically in Doylestown. And so I feel a heavy weight and burden that it is my responsibility to give back to my community. And I think every business owner, to their ability, because some have more ability than others to do that, owe a duty to their community to give back. We benefit a lot. We take a lot from the community. We need to give back to the community. And part of what really is rewarding to me about getting involved in the community and in these different organizations is the fact that I'm giving back. A place like the Michener, where bus loads of kids get off and learn about art, which is such a crucial part of any child's growth and learning. And art is a gift that keeps on giving your whole life if you have an appreciation for art. So, those things are ways that you give back to your community. And that is a really important part of any business owner's responsibility, in my opinion. And it's certainly, those organizations allow you to network in ways that can really help your business as well. But it's your motivation. It's not about the dollars that I get out of the customers from the Michener or the Mercer. It's really about benefiting those organizations. And then it's kind of nice when you get some customers and people that acknowledge, what you're doing and you're a professional.
Yeah, it's so funny that, and I love that you just shared that, because you're a lot like, you and I are a lot alike in so many ways, because we're both people. We're both people, but we're people. We love, we love people. We love networking. We love connecting with people, and we love connecting people. And I think there's such a value in that, right? Because when you start to get to know the people in your community and understand who they are, you start to see the connections. Like, oh my gosh, you need to know this person. You need to know this person. Or you need to get involved in this. When you understand, and I think it's a matter of taking time to get to know the people that you network with, to understand not just what they do, but understand what drives them, what their heart is all about, and then figuring out how you can help them get to the next level, get to where they want to go, get to what they're desiring to do. So I think there's a lot. I see that a lot in you, and I think that is so amazing, and it's so personal for me, because I love connecting with you for that reason, because it's like I see that, and I want to be part of that. So that's really exciting. So.
Laura, I often say that I don't know what life is relatively short, and I'm pretty confident that when my day comes and there's a funeral, that the president of Travelers Insurance Company is going to come down from Hartford and give a speech about how much money I made for Travelers Insurance Company. But I'm hoping that some people that I really connected with and was able to help in this community that I call my friends are going to show up, and I hope that I made a difference for them in their lives. So, I have to pay my mortgage and I have to sell insurance to do that for sure. But I think the different perspective is that, there's more to it than just earning a dollar. And it's what I give back to the community. And when you're giving back, the community tends to give back to you, which is really an awesome thing. And I've been very blessed to see that whole cycle after, 30 years of being in business.
I love that. I love that. And and that's the other thing too. A lot of organizations do have community outreach, but you have to engage with it. You have to engage
Yes.
with it. And I think there's so much value in that is when you start to engage and get involved within the organizations that you belong to. It makes such a big difference for you as well as for your community.
And it's hard work. Sometimes when you're wired like you and I are, maybe it's a little easier hard work, but it's hard work. It's doing what you say you're going to do, and it's truly helping. It's not just being on the letterhead, but it's really rolling up your sleeves and doing tough things to help these organizations. And when you do that, it does pay off. So
absolutely. And that's why work is part of the word network.
Yep.
You got to put the work in.
Got to put the work in. 100%. No question about it.
So thank you so much. I think we're going to end it there. It was a great note to end on. So remember to subscribe to 30 Second Success Connect for more videos and share us with your friends. If you would like to connect with Rick, it's millhamco.com.
That's our website.
Millhamco.com. I want to say insuranceco.com, but it's millhamco.com. Thank you so much, Rick, for being with us. I am so thrilled to share you with my network. So it was a pleasure. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, Laura. You too. Bye for now.